Good morning, everyone. So I said I would go through a bit of a day in the life video, and I'm also going to run through some meal prep, kind of some tips and tricks. I put a question box up on Instagram, and a few people said they would like to see me go through kind of how I meal prep. That it is one thing they struggle with, so I will go through that in the video. Now, as you saw, I'm up, I've had breakfast, I've done a few bits, and ready to start my day. First thing I done was glutamine first thing in the morning on my morning fasted walk with me. I done 50 minutes. Now I use that time every morning. I listen to an educational podcast. So this morning was Mike Israel, managing kind of fatigue and also exercise execution. Listen to a bit of Scott Stevenson on training principles. So they were the two of choice this morning, and I do that every morning before I start my day. 50-minute walk, clear the head, and listen to some educational, either an audio book or a couple of podcasts. So that's how we start. I checked in with Cuba this morning actually as well. I'm just waiting on him to get back to me and see what he has to say about how I'm looking, if he wants to make any changes, etc. We've been doing pretty frequent check-ins over the past couple of weeks as we reversed out of the dieting phase, just until the body kind of sets, because the weight was bouncing all over the place, body was changing fast. So we'll see what he says back. Had meal one, morning supplements and vacuums as well. That's what you saw me doing when I was bent over at the counter, my vacuums. So basically vacuums, it's something I introduced every morning. It's something I do during prep, and now I don't have a small waist by any means, but it definitely has helped my midsection control and bringing it in a little bit tighter. So if it helps me improve 1%, I'm going to keep it in, I'm going to do it. It's something in my off season now, I build up the discipline to just do it every morning regardless. It's very easy to fall off when you're not on prep doing something like that, but it definitely has had a massive impact in kind of how I'm looking at the moment. So that's into my daily routine now. I do that every morning without fail. 5 rounds, 15-second holds. Like you saw, I will do that while breakfast is cooking. I will kind of bend over, holding on to something. I will exhale all my air out of my stomach, and then from there I will kind of suck my stomach up into my rib cage and then hold there for 15 seconds to really kind of train my transverse abdominis. And even from that alone, I think that really kind of engages my core, makes me focus on holding that kind of lower midsection in tight, and that kind of translates throughout the day as well. I feel like that's already activated, that's already subconsciously in my mind to hold that in. So even though I do them in the morning, I subconsciously end up kind of holding it tight throughout the day as well. Especially in the off season, it can be uncomfortable because you're eating a lot more food. Stomach distension is going to be higher due to food volume. But I find, look, if I can keep it implemented in during this time, it's only going to stand to me once I do transition into prep eventually again. That's what we have done so far. Now my plans today are, it's 8:30 now, so all that is done, and now I'll kind of start my day, work-wise, etc. So Wednesday for me is a no check-in day. What I will do now is laptop in front of me, phone. I will basically get back to any client messages. Loads have sent me over videos for form and execution assessment and stuff like that. I will adjust any client plans that I need to adjust. I'm also going to create some content for the client WhatsApp to help benefit them and any questions or issues all clients as a whole may be having. And on days where I don't have any check-ins, I will really utilize that time to study, to upskill, to do what I can in order to kind of improve my knowledge base on any areas I may feel like need to be upskilled. And then, like I said, I will do some meal prep. I will run through kind of how I prep some of my carbs. I will take you along on whatever else I can. I have a leg session today. There will be a leg session recorded soon. So yeah, that's it. I will catch up with you again soon. Right, so we're going to get into some meal prepping. I cook for 4 days in advance, and over the next 4 days now I have 2 training days and 2 rest days. Right, now here's where it gets a bit confusing. So on training days, my potato portions, I have 2 meals of 450 grams, and on rest days I have 1 meal of 500 grams. With the white potato, I weigh all my carbs, all my food raw. I weigh all my food raw, okay? So In one pot I have 900 grams of white potato. That's going to be one training day. In another pot I have 900 grams of white potato, which is going to be another training day. And then in a third pot of potato I have 1000 grams, which is going to be my 2 rest days, because I only have 500 grams on a rest day. So that will cover 2 rest days of white potato. Sweet potato I only have on a rest day. I have 1 meal on a rest day, okay? And we're going to be cooking 2 rest days here. So 1 meal of 400 grams. So what I've done here is I've put 800 grams into one pot. And that will do me for the 2 rest days, okay? That's all the potato. And the other carb source I have is rice. So people get confused with rice, okay? When you're cooking food, like I said, it's cooked raw. So I need 120 grams of rice. It's the same on rest days and training days. My meal of 1 meal of rice, so it's 120 grams on a rest day and a training day. So over the next 4 days, I'm gonna need 480 grams. So that'll be split evenly throughout the 4 days. So what I've done is I've put 480 grams of dry rice in here, and I'm gonna cook that in a few minutes. Okay, so that's 480 grams gone in there. Now, when that's cooked, I'm going to show you how I split that up evenly into four lunch boxes for the next 4 days. I think this is all pretty straightforward, maybe because I've been doing it such a long time. But people still get confused about this, about cooking raw food, or cooking a raw weight food and then dividing it up evenly. So like I said, today I'm just going to go through my carb sources, white potato, sweet potato, rice. I have chicken and mince, etc. My protein sources cooked, so I won't do them today. Then they're not my only carb sources. This isn't my only food. Like I will have, you know, cream of rice a couple of times a day. I have oats, etc. But obviously I won't prep them I won't make them until just before I eat them on the days that I'm eating them. I'm gonna make all these, and then when it's all cooked, I will run through kind of how I divide them out into Tupperware. All cooked. So first up, the first pot, which was 900 grams of white potato, which is for the training day for the 2 meals. So what I'll do here is I'll weigh this out again, because obviously it's going to lose some weight when you do cook it, okay? So it's not going to be 900 grams exactly again. So I'll weigh this out. Whatever that weighs, I'll divide that by 2, and that'll be my 2 portions for the training day. Okay. Like I said, 865, it's not going to be the 900, which is why I weighed it again. So what I will do is 865 divided by 2 equals 432.5. So 432.5 into 2 lunch boxes, and that'll be my 2 potato meals for a training day. Okay, that's the first one done. Stop that. That's 1 training day done. I still have 2 pots of potato to do and sweet potato, but you get the idea of how to divide the potato out now, okay? So I'm going to run through the rice. Like I said, there's 480 grams of rice. I want that split equally through 4 days, because that's going to be 120 grams of rice on each day, okay? Training days and rest days. So I'm going to be cooking for 4 days. So there's 480 grams of dry weight in this. Obviously, when we weigh this out again, it's going to be a lot heavier than that due to kind of soaking up all the water I cooked it in. So to accurately divide this up into 4 portions of 120 grams of dry weight, I'm going to weigh this out again, and then whatever that weight is, I will divide that by 4, and that will give me the amount needed for each of the 4 meals.
Okay, so I will throw this into a bowl. Making sure I get absolutely everything out of it. Okay, and then I will literally even get the bit off the spoon. That is disgusting, but look it, I've done worse, I've eaten worse. I don't really care.
So that gives me 60, oh wait, there's a bit there. That gives me 60 and 28, okay? So what I'm going to do is, so I'm going to divide 60 and 28 by, I want 4 portions, divided by 4 equals 407, okay? So I'm going to put 407 grams into each of the 4 lunch boxes, and that is my rice divided equally out for the 4 days, okay? 120 grams of uncooked rice isn't always going to weigh out 407 grams when it's cooked. It depends on the amount of water you use, etc., how long you cook it for. It's going to soak up differently. Okay, so every time you do it, we can't just judge by the cooked amounts. We're going to have to do it every time to actually get accurate readings, because it is going to be different every time. That is a quick rundown on how I prep my carbs and how I weigh it out and divide it out, etc. I hope that made some sort of sense, because people do find some confusion with that for some reason. Like I said, maybe I'm just used to doing it, but hopefully that gives you a bit more of an insight. And if it doesn't, if you're still a bit confused, drop a comment, drop me a message on Instagram, and I'll run through it with you to make things a little bit easier, or I'll do another video to break it down even further. But again, that only took like 45 minutes to cook everything, divide it out for 4 days. So I think rather than cooking every day, it's a lot easier. Food is pretty much okay to stay in the fridge for up to 4 days. Even the meat, even chicken, beef, etc. It may not taste the freshest on the 4th day, but it is safe to do so. Any longer than that, I don't bother. So I normally go 4 days to save me cooking, and then day to day I will cook things like, you know, cream of rice, oats, etc. Obviously, because you can't really cook them in bulk, you have to cook them or make them just before you eat them. That's a rundown on meal prep. So there we go. Here we have rest day tomorrow, 2 training days, and then rest day again. So that's really the breakdown there. And pre-workout went down about half an hour ago as well. So we have intro workout made. We have pre-workout today. It's leg day today, so if it's not leg day, I'll usually just have a black coffee. A black coffee does the job for me. I'm really caffeine sensitive, so that does have me words. But leg day, I'm having MV Pre at the moment. I'm going to zoom in. Yeah, that's what I'm working with at the moment for leg days. I really like it. I usually after pre-workouts I'll get like just a bad kind of crash, but this is pretty good, pretty strong, good focus, good energy, and I don't crash off it as well. So get that mixed up now, and then I will head out to the gym and legs today. Well, yesterday didn't plan out as I wanted it to. Got home from training legs, and honestly I was absolutely destroyed after it. I just didn't have the energy for anything. I had a lot of client work to respond to. It was a heavy session, and I am no good at this. Like I said, what I done yesterday, I got home from training legs, post-workout meal, some client responses, etc. Made sure everyone was okay, and finished off with a bit of studying yesterday evening, and then I switched off around kind of 8:30 or so, and in bed by about 9:45, asleep by 10:30. That was basically how the day went. There's nothing too exciting whatsoever. It's how most days go, to be honest. Rest days are slightly different because I don't have that training window during the day. So I will take you through an actual kind of day in the life, maybe on a rest day at some stage. But basically that's just a rundown of what I did get up to yesterday and what most of my days do look like. I'm a creature of habit. Days are structured the same all the time, just from my own kind of mindset. I love routine, I love structure, I love doing the same things all the time. It keeps me productive, it keeps my mind focused, and that's just the way I am. I wouldn't have it any other way. So just a little update in regards to my training. Cuba has brought training frequency back up. I was training every second day for the last 3 months or so. So training frequency is back up at the moment. It's up to 2 days on, 1 day off, 1 day on, 1 day off. So it's push, pull, rest, legs, rest, repeat. So I'm very, very excited to dig into that. It's been a while since I've trained at that frequency, so I'm looking forward to taking things up a notch again, digging into this program, getting stronger, progressing, etc. Food has increased as well over the past weeks, especially since I last recorded my day of eating in the first episode of the series. I will take you through a full day of eating in the next couple of weeks, and you will see the drastic difference that food has increased massively. But at the moment, appetite is still crazy. I'm still ravenous. Digestion is excellent. Anything I eat now is just kind of going to the right places. And this was the reason behind the mini cut in the first place, to set my body up optimally for to push back on for a gaining phase. So everything is clicking very, very nicely now, and I will go through a full day of eating in the next couple of weeks. The last video, as you saw, was a push session I recorded, and the next video you will see is going to be a leg session. So that will be exciting, and that will be before Christmas anyway. And then after that I will look at getting a full day of eating in there again, and you will see kind of it's a large quantity of food in the off season, much more than that mini cut diet anyway. So I just said I would come on today and wrap things up, seeing as yesterday turned into a bit of a shit show and I didn't link back in after I trained. But hopefully you got a bit of an insight, a little bit of help with the meal prep, etc. yesterday as well. And like I said, if you have any more questions in regards to that, do hit me up, do shoot me over a message, etc. I'm trying to keep content consistent. I'm enjoying it. I'm in a good headspace at the moment. Everything's clicking in terms of everything in my life at the moment, and I'm just really enjoying everything and the process of everything. I will have that leg session up within the next week or two. But until then, please like, subscribe and share if you did find this interesting or you enjoyed it in any way. But yeah, thank you very much guys for tuning in. I'll be back very soon with the next. Thank you very much, and I will chat to you soon.